Okay, now, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the POWLAX podcast update. We are going to be just giving you guys an update after our move. We had a nice, we moved houses, so went from a condo to a house in kind of like South Parker / Castle Rock area, if you know the Denver area. So I'm pretty excited that we're finally kind of back up and running. I've been spending the last 2 hours of each day organizing this or that around the house, and it's actually helped a ton because when I was trying to find specific tools in the garage 2 days ago, it got pretty maddening trying to step over bikes and step over a bunch of just stuff. So things are getting more organized. It's really awesome. Biggest thing I have to do now is I have to make sure that I figure out how all of the internet works. My brother gave me a switch, which basically sends the internet to a bunch of different places. For some reason, it won't work wired, so I only have my wired connection to my computer, no wireless, which is why the Instagram might go crazy or something. But so, as you can see, we're in a new place, no walls. Actually, something that's pretty cool, I'll show all of you. We are actually in the process of building a wall. So for Instagram, you guys just saw that. For YouTube, now you can kind of see it. So it's pretty interesting being a homeowner now, an actual homeowner, not a condo owner. So a couple cool things. I officially own a lawn mower. I got an electric one. It's pretty cool. It's green. I also have a weed whacker and an air blower thing that I can blow stuff around. But so basically this is going to be an update as far as where we're at with new videos and kind of what to expect in the next couple months. I'm going to try to finish a video in the next 6 to 14 days, try and get it out for the 4th of July. And that video, I'm still debating whether it's going to be a house zone man down defense or if it's going to be the 5-man rotation into a house zone on carries, but I'm not, we'll kind of see what we get to. But a couple cool things is that within the past 3 to 4 weeks, I've had a lot of time to just work and do more manual labor kind of things, which have allowed me, basically has allowed me to listen to a lot of, and learn a lot about kind of things that are going on in the culture and kind of where, because everything's been kind of crazy recently, right? And it's been a breath of fresh air to kind of be able to hear from all different types of people about what's going on. And so it's funny. I have an urge to make videos on those topics, but I don't think that I will. We'll see what'll happen. But so this update, I was gonna do kind of a tour thing, but I don't know if we'll do a tour thing. If you want to see what the basement looks like on the other side of the basement, you can go to Instagram and see the pictures and things. I've got a goal set up over there, and for anyone who doesn't have the money for a backstop, here is my advice to you: have a real goal, buy a real goal for $100, from whatever you want, and then buy a mini goal for like $80, right? So $180, and aim for the little goal in the big goal, and now you have a goal and a backstop. And you'll have to aim better because you'll be shooting towards the little goal. It's pretty simple. But that's the setup that we have over there. Also, I just built a wall in my backyard. It's a mobile wall. It's basically just a piece of plywood with a bunch of 2x4s. But so I'm excited to make some videos with that. So I'm going to update everyone kind of on how the move went because, Mike, thank you for the hope the move went well comment. So a couple quick things. First, that pipe up there, the one that's above the wall, was leaking because someone tried to do the DIY plumbing and didn't do it right. And so we had a flooded basement for a while. And then another pipe also tried to DIY, and when my brother, who is in construction, saw it, he and if you know our family, you know we don't shy away from cussing. I try not to cuss on these because then it'll be demonetized. It's not like I get as many views that would, like, I probably make 0.02 cents on each of these live stream videos. But I don't know, having it demonetized just doesn't make sense, so I try not to cuss. But when he saw that pipe, he was livid. Just, some things you got to do correctly, and so now all of our pipes and all of our water and plumbing is correct. So let's see, what other kind of updates? So let me step away for a second. I'm going to grab the jersey for a second. So, as most of you can see in the video, we got these unis from Encore, which I really like. This is actually the sample they sent. So the actual unis don't have this POWLAX Master Coach on them. They just say POWLAX. But so, pretty cool thing in Colorado, we actually are live and playing again, which is awesome. So Nate Watkins from Fire set up a 7v7, which has transitioned to an 8v8 league, and so our boys got to play on Saturday. We got whomped by the Monarch varsity, which makes sense if you think about it, but I was not able to attend. My brothers and I went to a shooting simulator in Lakewood, which was actually kind of near where they were playing. But so it's nice that the boys are playing again. Hopefully this weekend we'll have a full squad. But so Nate's doing a good job with organizing that, making sure all the kids have their temperatures checked, doing all of those things. And so that's definitely been cool to have everybody get back. So been coaching the POWLAX team, been coaching the Scorpions team. Hopefully we will get to do tournaments here shortly. I am definitely an advocate for getting out and actively playing. Apparently some new research says that if UV light from the sun hits this stuff, it just dies pretty much instantly. So that's at least what Joe Rogan was saying yesterday when he talked to Colion Noir. So that was, I think that at this point, the mental strain has to be, I know it's getting to some people. I was in a lucky position where I'm pretty much a homebody as it is. I like to do my own work and things. So I definitely had a good, experience. So let's see, other new things. So I had the opportunity to do a live stream with the European Lacrosse Coaches discussion group that I think went pretty well. And Zoom has been obviously a big, I guess, an awesome thing for that. But so basically within the European Lacrosse Coaches discussion group talk, I went over just 5 tips. It's funny, I actually named it 5 top tips, and then the first thing I said within the video was that these are not like the end all be all of tips, but essentially what the tips were for coaches in areas that are less able to, or that are less, I guess, lacrosse is not the biggest sport there, is to just make sure that you do kind of the following things, which are, let's go to the last one so we can see them. Basically let's zoom in. Basically that the first thing is that the game sells itself. So there's a lot of people who really focus in on, and they want to say that the, what up, Evan? I haven't talked to Evan in a long time. But so basically they say that the game teaches itself, and at a level it does, but if the game taught itself, we wouldn't have any film, right? If it was just the game that allowed you to teach the game, that is what it is. I think that needs to be changed, and it needs to be termed in terms of the game sells itself. Like, the game is so much fun to play. It's really funny for our POWLAX practices now because we're in this new place where basically there's a baseball field that is beyond our field. And so all of these little kids who are playing baseball or softball have to walk past as we play, and they all say the same thing, like, man, it looks like so much fun. And you walk over and you see them as they're doing their practices, and like tons of them are just standing there, and it drives me nuts to kind of like see them just stand there. But that's kind of what baseball is in a sense. I remember playing baseball when I was littler, and I wasn't, the act of watching can be fun, but really just playing lacrosse really does its, it does what it is. It's why I do what I do now. So The next tip I mentioned was to see coaching as a communal journey with your team. And so I feel like so many people get caught up in the idea of being the best, and I'd say even 90% of players who play the sport aren't going to be that upper echelon, and that's just by the numbers. You're not actively going to be able to be the best at lacrosse where you are. But so I think a lot of coaches think they have to have that mentality. And so instead of creating goals based on their team, they all want their players to be, the end all be all, when they really need to focus in on what they need to be for their players, right? So if you think about lacrosse in underdeveloped for lacrosse areas, if you make it all about being the best, you're going to get really upset when people don't show up because you're too much of a drill sergeant, when really you just need to allow players to enjoy the game, to entice others to come to play. But that's obviously different for each people. So if you're in middle school versus high school versus college versus international play, it's very much so different. But so understanding that, I think, was important. And we're gonna run through these pretty quickly. But so the next is the idea that fluency without tactics is better than tactics and technique without fluency. And so what that basically alludes to is the idea that the act of playing the game is more important than whether or not you have all of the right techniques and skills. And when you look at the Native American players and their culture, the number of professional and elite Native American players versus the number of any other group and who is at the elite level, you see that the backyard play that they do is what makes them so beneficial. So you see Lyle Thompson and, what's his name for Albany? Nanacoke. And they have all of these amazing handles, and they shoot it between the legs with one arm, and they do all this stuff. And you realize, and even the Canadians, that they learned all of these techniques through play. Like, they failed at it in play a ton of times. So then you look at things like Shake School and First Class Lacrosse and Two Wolves Lacrosse and my own, individual drills, and people can get caught up in the idea that that's how you really teach the sport, when actively being able and being aware of how the game works is way more beneficial than repping the same movements over and over. Now, there is something to be said about being able to make the correct movements in the game, but if you don't have a fluency for how the game works, you don't know where to put that in, and then you're basically practicing something that isn't actually a part of the game, right? Like, if you don't know where and when to use the dodge that you're working on, it doesn't matter that you know the dodge, because you're going to be doing it in a location that's not correct. And so we talked about that for a little bit through the European Coaches Discussion Group. And then the next one was that for these developing places, understanding the fundamental commonalities in all phases of the game will help with the part-whole methodology. And the reason for that is that there are truths in the game that transcend all of the different locations of the game. So if you teach transition in a way where it's just recognizing and understanding numbers advantages, and then getting covered, drawing, and then moving the ball in order to isolate the 4v3 to the 3v2 to the 2v1 to the 1v0, you will then make sure that that principle is used in all places of the game. It's used in the clear, it's used in transition offense, it's used in offense, what you've drawn a slide. And the idea of putting players in the position where they have to read and see those things is extremely important in making sure we develop at the levels that we want to. The next is, if you don't teach it, don't focus on it. So many of these coaches in Europe only have, what would it be, 180 minutes a week to practice. That's 2 90-minute sessions. And if you are going to maximize that amount of time with a team, it's important that you don't harp on players for not doing things, or for not doing things they haven't been taught. And so that's actually straight from Coach Danowski and the Duke team. And so what you notice with Duke is that they always start slow and then they do really well at the end. And the reasoning is because they're actually focusing so much on fundamentals and things of that nature in the beginning. And once they have those things down, they will, expand and use the tactics that they need to at the end. But they all have that solid fundamental foundation. Now, that is talking about the elite level of the game, not beginners who are just trying to pick up the sport. So it's very different. But obviously, if you're not teaching something and the players who are there don't know what you're talking about, you can't focus on it and have it be a beneficial thing. But so those were the 5 tips that I mentioned. They're not the best tips, but I figured I would run through those for our little update because it just gives some lacrosse ideas. But so for the people who are... Actually, I'm just going to run through that. I was going to show you an image, but I might just post the image a little bit later on Instagram. So if you want to see the image, you can go to Instagram a little bit later. So goals, my goals for the next couple weeks are, 1, make sure to practice plan, and because I'm a little bit more settled now, for each day as we go with the Scorpions and then the POWLAX team. And I'm really excited to be able to go to the first 8v8 game. I might have Turner with me, which will be kind of fun to have him go to another game. Then after we shut this off, I'm going to be working on the new PDF for the new video, so that'll be good. And so new videos will be coming soon. And then, each day I hope to have a post that hits TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of those platforms, and many of those are just pulled from the videos that are online. Oh, the other thing is, I may begin, well, not may, at some point, I would love for all of the videos to be on one succinct site and for it to be integrated into basically a whole app idea I have. I'm not going to explain it now, but yeah, that's that. But so lots of cool things to come. It's definitely been a great transition to get here and actually get settled. I'm excited to be able to get back to work in the capacity that I have. I have the best office now. Like, this part of the office is a little bit, it's obviously not a finished basement, but I think it'll work really well for it. But the other thing is I can go outside and work on my Lazy Boy recliner outdoor chairs, which is cool. Actually, one is getting fixed right now, but so definitely excited for that. Turner's doing well, Wendy's doing well. So for all of the people who know me on that level, that's going well. We are expecting a daughter in September. That's exciting. So it's gonna get even crazier. So a lot of work to do, a lot of fun to have, and so I hope all of you guys are doing well. No ads for this one other than the Patreon. If you want to help support POWLAX and keep the videos free and all that, and get all of the playbook PDFs, you can get that at patreon.com/POWLAX. And hope you guys have a good rest of your week. We will be back next Wednesday. Oh, that was the other big thing. Is next week after the live stream on Wednesday, we will be doing the Coaches Only Q&A for June. So if you are on that level on the Patreon, make sure that you submit the questions. If I don't get any questions, we are going to do an overview of what we're working on in basically for both of the POWLAX and the Scorpions teams. And they're obviously doing things that are very similar, very play-based, not very, structured. This is what you have to do based. So I think that'll be a good overview again. So I hope you guys have a good one, and I will talk to all of y'all soon. Hit me up if you guys need me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter,